Poverty in America.
A bad public perception of poverty.
And finally talking about poverty, saying the P word, not just income inequality.
Poverty, extreme poverty and suffering from hunger.
We have 47 million people in this country living in poverty.
16% of this population now live in poverty.
I'm able to get 50 million Americans out of poverty. I would create incentives for people to work.
What is poverty? The denotation is the state of being poor, scarce, without abundance or access, unfortunate, and deficient. Poverty exists in America because a wealthy few concentrate all of their wealth due to competitive capitalism, which breeds unfair opportunities and circumstances.
We're a capitalist system where some people make more money than God, and some people don't make enough to live. And we've decided that that's okay. Federal minimum wage is $7.25. You can't live on that. It's as if the culture said it's fine if a certain percentage of us don't have enough to barely stay alive. Which is strange because there are many countries where they go, no, we're a wealthy country. Everybody should have at least the basics. Why we've decided, who knows? Yeah. That's a good question.
Presidents like Franklin D. Roosevelt had reform, relief, and recovery programs in his New Deal to aid the nation out of the Great Depression, but did not continue. Lyndon B. Johnson declared a war on poverty in the 1960s that failed because it had to compete with defense spending during the Vietnam War. Poverty most recently stems from 1970s and 80s Reaganomics, or the trickle-down theory that gives tax breaks to the rich, and based off of their spending, would find its way to everyone else.
What you call a trickle-down effect, right? And so our organization, which is Step Up on Second, believes in the housing first model, right? Which is, you house people first, you get them housing, and then with that, then they can receive mental health services and work on those issues, right? Then they can go to school and work on those issues, then they can get a job.
Right, that makes sense.
It's funny, when I started teaching the class when did I start? 04 or 05 here. I said, can you believe 1 in 7 Americans live in poverty? And at the time I thought, that's not right. And then as the years have gone by, I've had to change. It's now 1 in 6 Americans live in poverty. And when it comes to kids, it's 1 in 4. And when it comes to minority kids, it's 1 in 3. And so if you think, wait a minute, African American population, Latino population, 1/3 of those kids don't have the basics. And we're actually number 2 in the world in terms of child poverty. Romania is number 1, we're number 2. And so it's like a crazy statistic, isn't it? Because you have at the same time, like Mitt Romney running for president, his income was $57,000 a day, right? Warren Buffett, this has got to be a misprint. I've got him down for $37 million a day. Michael Bloomberg, former mayor of New York, if he spent $10,000 a day, it'd take him 8,500 years to spend all his money. So it's plenty of money, right? But we've just decided it's okay for some guys to have more than God and some people to struggle.
And it doesn't really surprise me. I feel like that's just because a lot of people who are non-minorities get way more benefits than people who are minorities. It's something that's always been shown in all of history.
More than 16 million children in the United States live in families with incomes below the federal poverty level of $23,550 per year for a family of 4. Families need an income of twice that to cover basic expenses. Poverty directly as the single greatest threat to a child's well-being due to its impact on mental health, social, emotional, behavioral, and educational skills.
And really, in the last presidential election with Obama and Romney, they kept saying, the middle class, we need to do something for the middle class. And I'm in the middle class, so I'm happy with that, but you got 1 in 3 minority kids living in poverty. Is anybody going to address poverty? It's not been an issue that's been in front of the voters, and it'd be interesting to see. We got a presidential election. If either Clinton or Trump will, unless Bernie Sanders can win, will address poverty. Well, I mean, we're starting to. I mean, Sanders has said $15 an hour, and Clinton went, well, $12 an hour. But so they're starting to address it, but I don't think it's a big issue just yet.
A couple of long and short-term solutions could be to have universal health care that's not private and for-profit, and universal education to provide equal opportunity and some sort of stability early on in life. Fair, progressive income taxes on the rich would lead to more money for public social services like school, recreation, parks, etc. Many young adults make a living from minimum wage jobs, and about a third of those people are parents. By increasing living minimum wage, paid for by higher sales tax, workers may be more motivated and inclined to do good work for loyal employers. This way, spending will increase, which will improve the economy, 70% of which is dependent on consumer spending.
You know, talking to the people that you know, maybe making it more known in school, you know, that, you know, you want to help your own community, right? So
Yeah.
It's very powerful when a young person helps another young person, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think just getting the word out, I think, you know, people have their own communities, whether it be church or whether you have after-school groups. You know, if people want to fundraise and support, you know, their local places. There's always ways that you can volunteer. You can volunteer your time. You can volunteer money. You could volunteer, you know, donations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have garage sales. There's all different kinds of ways. I think just getting the word out, though, is big.
And each school has a backpack club. And what that is poor kids get a backpack on Friday afternoon and go home, and there's food in it because they're used to getting breakfast and lunch at school, and there's not enough food at home. And so one thing that students can do, especially like if they need service learning credit and stuff like that, ours is to participate in that backpack club program, either getting the food or putting the food in the backpacks or helping however you can. It was really eye-opening for me how many kids have food, what we call food insecurity, poverty. Yeah, all of us have to do something on that.